so upset to hear Donald Trump talk about how Ron DeSantis has really stabbed him in the back.
Oh,
I mean,
truly.
When you hear all the things that Donald Trump did for Ron DeSantis, it really cuts deep, because we've all had people that we felt like we've helped out in one way or another, whether it's a friend or family or a colleague, a work colleague. I can't tell you how many times I've gone through the same thing where, somebody gets into the streaming game and they come to me weeping, please help me. And I do it, but then they turn around and
betray
me and get better.
Stab
numbers.
you in the back, steal your panels or something like
Here
that.
is Donald Trump on the Sean Hannity program, which has also, like, this guy's such a lunatic. Like, that's literally the Superman medallion. I don't know if you know that. And then they put Hannity across
America, baby.
He also wants to do it in the Giants thing because he's trying to butch himself up to be a little bit like football.
That is unfortunately the Giants the Giants underlining thing.
The whole logo
font.
thing. It's really,
damn it. Why'd you tell me that?
That's Sean Hannity trying to sort of both be seen as Superman and also like a football guy. In fact, let's bring a football onto the set and we'll throw it like I do this at the commercial breaks.
We have to just show people this logo now that we've been speaking about it.
Oh, yeah, you gotta pop it up.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Sorry, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Here it is. Okay, the American way. Go ahead.
The question I'm asked most about you of late is Ron DeSantis. This is the question. What happened? I thought they were friends. What happened?
Not friends. I didn't know him well, but he was on impeachment hoax #1 and impeachment hoax #2, which I won.
Defending you.
He was one of 150 people that would go on television and defend me. And he was no Jim Jordan. He was I had a lot of people that really defended me great.
150.
But he was good, and he defended me. So all of a sudden, he's running for governor. And people didn't view him as governor because, he was a congressman defending, and they didn't view him as governor. And he announced he was running for governor, and he wanted to get my support. Now, I didn't know the person that was running, named Adam Putnam. He was the Secretary of Agriculture, which is actually the second highest position in Florida. It's a big deal. Agriculture is very big, and it goes back 100 years and all of that. But agriculture is very big, very high official, and popular. Adam Putnam. And what happened, but I didn't know him. And I knew Ron a little bit. I didn't know him very well, but I knew him a little bit. I knew him as somebody that defended me. So what happened with Ron is the following. He came to see me. He was getting killed. He was being crushed. Adam Putnam, it was over. I have many people that I know that worked for Adam Putnam. They said it was like I hate to use this expression, it was like a nuclear weapon went off when you endorsed, because they considered the race to be over. They had the race. He had millions and millions of dollars, and he was way up in the polls. He was beating Ron by 30 points or something. It was over. Ron came to see me, tears in his eyes.
Please, I'm crying.
He said, I need you to do me a big favor. First he asked for the meeting, then he asked me for the favor. I said, what's the favor? Would you endorse me? I fought for you. But again, a lot of people fought for me. You fought for me only rightfully, but you fought for me if you thought I was right. A lot more than he did. But he said, I need your endorsement. I said, Ron, you're so far behind. I can't imagine that if you got George Washington's endorsement combined with the late great Abraham Lincoln, if you had their endorsement,
for 1 second. I just also, Washington also turns out is also passed.
He's late.
He's late as well. They're both passed.
Both late, both great.
Mix them together and think about how great they are.
Yeah.
Mix them together. And then remember, I'm better than that mixture of the two of them.
And beyond the grave, they were one of the 150 people to have my back. Very specific
Lincoln would have
number.
never endorsed Ron.
Yeah, just,
But even if Lincoln
crayon in a box.
If Lincoln had, that wouldn't have done it. And if Washington had done it separately, that wouldn't have done it. And even if you combine them together,
The whole round Mount Rushmore.
you need one other thing, and that's me. Go ahead.
I can't imagine that if you got George Washington's endorsement combined with the late great Abraham Lincoln, if you had their endorsements, I don't think you could win, Ron, but tell me about it. Go ahead. He said, I'm telling you, I think I could win if I could get your endorsement. And you'll have to check the records, but many, many, many points. It was over. And the nomination
And it was a very close
The
race.
nomination was just, okay. I said, let's give it a shot, okay? You defended me. Adam Putnam didn't, one way or the other. I think he's probably a nice guy. I never met him until later. A year later, I met him. He said, when you did that, it was like a rocket went up. He said, my race was over. They were already buying furniture for the governor's mansion. They were going to win.
We were doing the drapes.
I said, let's give it a shot, Ron, okay? And he was desperate. I said, okay. I gave him a nice endorsement. I said, you write out what you'd like and let me see it. He wrote it out. I thought it was terrible. I changed it, made it great. I gave him a great endorsement.
There you go.
From the moment I pressed that button, he blew the guy away. The race was over. They never even got to spend their money. Then I had to get him against the star of the Democrat Party. It was going to be Stacey Abrams, and now we call him a crackhead because that's what he was, a crackhead.
His name, Gillum.
And there was no way Ron was going to beat Gillum. So he got the nomination, but there was no way because this guy was going to be the future of the Democrat Party. And I said, Ron, you can beat this guy. Let's go. I got him the nomination. By the way, could have never gotten the nomination. He would be working in either a pizza parlor place or a law office right now, okay? And he wouldn't be very happy.
So it's about
There's
loyalty.
nothing in between.
Yeah, he was.
It's either he's working in a pizza parlor place or a law office.
I'm not even saying he's Italian.
Maybe
But
insurance.
the meatballs should probably be in the pizza
In the pizzeria.
parlor, right?
Yeah, working in
that's
a-
where he
that's right. I didn't
responds.
pick up on that.
Yeah.
He'd probably be like, singing. He'd be wearing like one of those like gondola,
Mia.
Yeah,
gondola
yeah.
hats. And
Stripes
in
not
a
going to look
pizza
good on
restaurant.
Ron's wide body.
Somebody wrote this on the IM. It's world's second best case study. Wrote Trump wants to be Don Corleone so badly.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. The whole story is
Yes.
like. I can't remember exactly what happened, but I just watched that scene in the Godfather right before the wedding.
Yeah.
Where they come in.
You come to me on
They
my
come to me.
daughter's wedding day, and I forget which one it even is.
And I think it was number 2. And and I said, okay, I've thought about it. And this is really, just the full cucking that Trump is
Tears in his eyes.
Tears in his eyes.
You don't offer friendship. You just offer Italian food.
And Hannity so soberly is like, so it's about loyalty.
Yeah.
After he's like, Ron DeSantis would have been working in a pizzeria in Miami if it weren't for me.
It really is just bizarre that this is a political. But you imagine I don't know, Joe Biden going on like this, or Barack Obama. I'm not saying that. I'm not trying to raise them into some type of a state. But is there any sort of politician you can imagine who could go on like this for minutes and still be taken seriously by anything other than the Republican Party? Honestly.
It really is. Yeah, incredible. So, DeSantis is done? Question mark?
I think. Look.
He's just sticking a fork in him over and
Desperate
over and over.
DeSantis. Desperate. He kept saying desperate, tears in his eyes.
Ron Desperantis is what I call him. Desperantus. Desperantus.
He set him up for the cucking by just by DeSantis being the ultimate Trump sycophant, reading the deal to his kids in his campaign ads. Hey, you make a deal with the devil, he's gonna come back and get you.
And if you're gonna make the turn, I feel like the turn has to be sharp.
Yes.
You can't all of this all of this straddling and this fence sitting is he's there's no way to staunch this bleeding if he's not going to actually make a choice. It's shit or get off the pot.
Well,
Trump has 3 months or 2 months of
the real problem that DeSantis has. The first one. He's ultimately got a big problem once he gets into the race. But the real problem he's had is that the guy goes out on this book tour, right? It starts about a month ago. He's everywhere, and then his poll numbers crater. Right. And so what he has lost is the silent primary, which is where you go to the big donors and show that you're this is like the...
But he is doing that. He's going to Club for Growth, and he's going to the Fraternal Order of Police in Chicago, but no one gives a shit.
Well, no, his numbers have dropped.
Yes.
His poll numbers have dropped. And so the problem he has, this is like the, those things where they, where the NFL goes for their, the whatever it is, the pre-draft, where they're doing the 4.7, they're doing the 50-yard dash.
Yeah, oh yeah,
to see
the
what
combine.
The combines. This has been his combines, and the numbers come back, and he's tanking. And so how do you go to a donor and say, like,
yes.
And here's the other problem that he has, is that these donors also know that Trump will hold a grudge. And they don't want, what Machiavelli said, the worst thing you do is you come for the king and you miss, or you just injure. And so this is scaring away those donors. They don't think DeSantis can do it. And it's compounding. And then the interesting thing is that you had people who took early bets on DeSantis.
Yes.
Like this guy, Brian Kilmeade. And I remember the time that Brian was there throwing a baseball around with Brian Kilmeade. And now he wants to go golfing with me. And remember, he came to me crying. Watch Brian Kilmeade now. Like, you could almost see in real time, he is watching. It's as if he bet his kids 529 on DeSantis and is now realizing he lost that bet.
And a good tip too when watching Fox and Friends is to check out Ducey's face whenever Kilmeade speaks, because they have a cold war brewing between the two. And sometimes Ducey will literally clench his fist.
And Kilmeade bet the house on DeSantis, and now he's like in a full-on panic about it.
Bob Dole and George Bush 41 wanted to tear each other's eyes out. John McCain and George W. Bush never really got over the personal animosity as they locked horns. You could say that Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton, it got extremely personal, and they've never been close since, even though they worked together for a short period of time. So this is not unusual. But a usual attack on Ron DeSantis would be, I respect him from what he's done, but I'm the one with international experience. I'm the one that did the Abraham Accords. I'm the one that made NATO pay up to 10%. I'm the one that made sure that Ukraine wasn't invaded. I'm the one who gave them weapons.
Pause it. When was the last time Brian Kilmeade ran through a list of Donald Trump's accomplishments?
Well, the Abraham Accords are going to move the needle. That's what Republican voters want, as they are saying, like, don't say gay needs to be the law of the land and on the federal government. They want the Abraham Accords brought to them.
This is Kilmeade talking to Trump.
I know.
This is Kilmeade trying to be like, I respect everything you did, Mr. President.
Right.
Let's focus on that stuff, right? Don't be mean to Ron DeSantis, right?
And Don's like, I would do that strategy if I was a loser.
Right. Yes, I'm going to actually eat Ron DeSantis on the campaign. Literally,
watch it.
I'm the one that did the Abraham Accords. I'm the one that made NATO pay up to 10%. I'm the one that made sure that Ukraine wasn't invaded. I'm the one who gave them weapons to defend themselves, not MREs. So you point out...
Energy independence.
It seems to me the tactic more traditionally would be, Ron, at 44 years old, he's done a lot. Right. Well, look at what I have done in 4 years, and these are the same players. I like to go back and finish the job. And he's been very nice to Nikki Haley. I think he's been deferential to Mike Pompeo. And Tim Scott, I can't imagine saying something bad about Tim Scott. But with Ron DeSantis, he sees a threat. But I think that his best offense as the front runner would be don't punch down.
Well, but here's the...
He's being so, look at how sort of deferential he almost does, in fact, the thing right here where he's like trying to signal to Trump that
that would be a really bad idea, Brian Kilmeade. It sounds like he's trying to sabotage the Trump campaign. Yeah. I love when they talk directly to him on Fox and Friends too.
You gotta give Kilmeade credit, because it's really hard to imagine Donald Trump punching down on anybody. It's not something that his entire career has been completely built upon. Literally using his wealth and the presidency to attack, Congresswomen from the Bronx, and telling them to go back to where they came from, and attacking Kaepernick. I mean, just
people people at his rallies saying like you'd get knocked out if saying Muslims
Get that guy. Don't worry, I cover the lawsuit.
Or Mexicans are rapists. Like now it's punching down when they're going after your guy Ron.
Well, I also love it. He's like of course, like he should do normal oppo against Ron. You're very handsome, very young, super accomplished, but like I'm
more experienced.
They'll pay more. That's the Donald Trump way.
Yeah, and I love the effort. They are trying to will not just DeSantis into being like the moderate, common sense candidate, but also the Republican base into caring about the things that they want them to care about again, like the Abraham Accords and international experience as with diplomacy. We're so far past that. I mean, it's not even in the rearview mirror. It's on the other side of the country.
The interesting thing is, and up until fairly recently, I was thinking like DeSantis, before he went on that tour, I was like, I don't know that DeSantis is going to run because it is the most sensible thing for him not to do would be to not run. The interesting thing is like, and I still think that is a viable option for him, although, it's like right up against it.
Well, now, even if he doesn't run, he'll still look like a cuck because then he'll look bullied out of the race.
That's what I'm saying, that we have crossed that threshold. And, a month ago, before he started to mix it up a little bit, but I think in his mind, he's still, part of the reason why he's not mixing it up with Trump is because he still wants this last, sort of like escape hatch. And the fact is, I do think that if he doesn't run, he will be able to run again in 4 years. I don't think he'll do any better than he's doing now. I think that he has a problem that is, larger than Donald Trump, although that is the big one that he has right now. But here is, they're all trying to we're just going to be watching how quickly they pivot. Like this idea, Laura Ingraham is now on Fox with a contributor Miranda Devine and former Trump advisor Stephen Miller. I don't know, former. And
the white nationalist guy.
Yeah. And here is, Ingram, like as if, Donald Trump is exactly the guy that he was when he was president. Although, if anything, he's a little more tired.
But he's reinvigorated now when he gets to trash talk. This is him in his element.
And it's as if, who is Laura Ingraham? Like who are these people kidding? Stephen Miller won't take it. Here we go.
And I hope that at some point Donald Trump does flip to the future instead of dwelling on the past, because he looks like someone who is full of grievance and anger, not like someone like he was in 2016 and like we knew him as president, really a sunny person who focuses on serious issues.
Pause it. Does anybody remember the RNC speech? Like people were comparing it to Bane, the Bane character in the Batman movies, talking about like there's pestilence and disease, and the entire country is being taken over, and everything is M13, and there are roving gangs that are going to come and get you if it's not the caravan, and you're going to be murdered by immigrants because of all the darkness in these cities. Is she like? Is there any funny person? Like, are you kidding?
I mean, he looks like he's been in the sun, if that's what you're getting at.
Like he was like, they're pretending he was like Reagan.
Yeah.
He was literally opened his campaign by saying Mexico's sending rapists.
Yeah.
I'm sure some of them are okay people. But then, like, he was the sunny guy who said,
it's because he looks like
he's got tiny penis, incidentally. And here's Lindsey Graham's phone number if you want it. And I like war heroes who weren't caught. That's a sunny disposition.
Yeah.
I mean, like, the idea that they think they can launder this, like, who are they talking to?
Well, I mean, honestly, for some of these people, like, the bullying is fun for them. So for that is sunny.
Yeah, maybe,
well, he's still doing that.
I know.
It's all been personal grievance. In fact, you get rid of personal grievance, and there is no conservative movement in this country.
What are we even hinging it on?
There's just like, honestly, if you had some type of ray gun that you could shoot on, you could line up or the weather machine, instead of like deploying the weather, these satellites deployed an anti-personal grievance machine. the entire Republican Party would be basically gone. You would just, and the entire conservative movement would just, all you'd see was like occasional, like the wind blowing and a couple of dust, like a dust balls and like a
tattered MAGA hat.
Where we all go, one goes, signs blowing in the wind. But go ahead.
Is full of grievance and anger, not like someone like he was in 2016 and like we knew him as president, really a sunny person who focuses on serious issues
Look at Miller,
and does them with panache, not someone who's constantly dwelling on grievance. And I think that also comes into the Ron DeSantis attacks. We saw at his rally at Waco that the audience really didn't respond to that story he tells about Ron DeSantis' supposed lack of loyalty. They don't like it. I don't think it works. Republicans know that we need the best.
Go ahead. The president's put out a new policy plan every week. Yeah. Laura, the president's putting forward a new policy plan every week. He's released the Quantum Leap plan to build freedom cities and revolutionize the American way of life and American transportation. He's launched a plan to end child mutilation. It was 2/3 of his speech in Waco. It was 3/4 of his speech at CPAC. He did a full hour on policy in both of those addresses. He's detailed a 4-year plan to phase out imports on China.
Stephen, he has the answers. Stephen,
he's detailed the plan to take out the deep state. He's detailed the plan to end the war.
Deep state take out
the plan to completely reshape our
nothing can be tweaked. Stephen, nothing can be tweaked. Nothing.
I've not in my lifetime seen a candidate who's put out more new policy in so short a period of time.
Then talk about it. Talk about it every time you get.
Every single week.
Okay, so Stephen,
I was at the CPAC speech. It was an hour straight.
I'm not talking about the CPAC speech. I'm talking about tonight. This is a huge opportunity to talk to the American people.
Sean asked him about the biggest news story in the country, which is people trying to prosecute him because he is the leading candidate. There's no cheery way to be prosecuted by Alvin Bragg. There's no cheery way to have the special counsel come after you.
Didn't say there was a cheery way.
And he should be. But he says over and over again, they're coming after him because they're trying to come after us.
The amazing thing about this is like how Laura Ingraham and that Australian lady, they know that the Republican Party faithful don't give a whit's ass about policy. They don't, like, you know what? Yesterday I was going to do this and now I'm going to do that and whatever. And they don't care. They don't care. You know what? The Republican platform in 2020, the policies listed in that platform, see if you can find that platform, see if it is. It basically says, we like Donald Trump.
Yep.
That's it.
We're outsourcing it to that
There was no policies. They don't care about policy. We like Donald Trump. That's the policy.
Yeah. There is no, so I want to know a little bit more about that woman, that guest. What's her name? Miranda
Devine. She's like an Australian.
Miranda DeSantis Devine.
Miranda
Devine. I'm checking this out because I'm curious what her background is. I
think she's a Post reporter, or she was a New York Post reporter.
Well, there you go.
She did a lot of Hunter Biden stuff for a while.
So she's also, she's just swimming around in some of those Murdoch waters there. So that's why I'm curious about that. Because it means that they are trying to deploy whatever they can to tamp down some Trump enthusiasm here. He's no longer sunny anymore.
It's fascinating though, because also, like, I was watching that video last night, and a few of the things Miller mentioned, it's like I am probably one of the most like voracious consumers of right-wing media just by professional purposes. I haven't seen a single thing about any of those Trump policies that he outlined. No. I didn't even know he had a thing on freedom cities or child mutilation. It's like, if I'm not seeing it, no one is seeing it. Like, it's not about that. It's just not about that.
No.